coughs are quite difficult to deal with when you're an adult, let alone when you're a little baby and you don't know that you need to sip water and things like that. So it's been quite difficult. I think combined in the last 3 days I've had about 15 minutes sleep. Joking. I think overall I probably had about an hour to 3 hours sleep. So my window is open, so it's been tough, but I've had a couple comments on my last video of my books. You can hear my birdies or the birds singing outside, which is nice, but I don't know why it's so loud because both my windows are shut. But I had a comment from one girl, I can't remember her name, but she was like, do more of these books, do more of them, like do more book videos. Now I have become obsessed with books recently. I've always been fairly obsessed. I've always loved books, but I was always into either true crime books or mystery books and things like that, and I've always loved books like that. But as of recently, I have become fairly obsessed with fantasy books. As you guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, I am slowly but surely getting through the Game of Thrones 5. Like I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I think there's 7 books overall, with more being written as we speak, although George R.R. Martin has never, he like drops not even hints, but he does things on his blog. He does things on his blog every now and then, where it's like not hints, but kind of like, you know, things. Like, I've written the first paragraph he actually shared on his blog, which is just George R.R. Martin. It's called Not a Blog. He actually shared a couple of chapters. I think it was like an Arya chapter and a Sansa chapter, which I was like, thank you, George, like as if I knew him. I'm so sorry for this, but I've got quite a lot of books to go through here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do them. The first book, which I think is the first one in the series, this is Sarah J. Maas, who is more like, this book is, she's more well known for A Court of, you know, which I do have. Little surprise there, but this is Sarah J. Maas, House of Earth and Blood. I find it really difficult reading books like this because I feel like that they are so trying to be like Game of Thrones, if you get what I mean. Like the House of Earth and Blood, like Song of Fire and Ice, or Song of Ice and it's the Song of Fire and Ice. I find it quite difficult to like not compare them to each other, but my sister has said that I need to read this book. I think this is the first one. You can see, yeah, this is the first one. You can see she has the Crescent City, A Throne of Glass, and A Court of Thorns and Roses. I think, yeah, so she has quite a lot of books. I cannot wait to read this. The thing that separates this from House of Dragons is at the end you probably have about this many pages worth of names and houses and maps and things like that. So a 600-page book is more like 500 or something like that, whereas this is a literal, they've not got page numbers. Oh yeah, they do. This is a literal 876 page book, which I think is extraordinary, but it goes. Bryce Quinlan loves her life. Every night is a party, and Bryce is going to savour all the pleasure Lunatheon, also known as Crescent City, has to offer. But when a brutal murder shakes the foundations of the city, Bryce's world comes crashing down. 2 years later, Bryce still haunts the city's most notorious nightmare. is assigned to watch her every footsteps. Bryce knows she cannot forget any longer. As Bryce and Hunt fight to unravel the mystery in their own dark pasts, the threads they tug ripple through the underbelly of the city, across wearing continents and deep into the darkest levels of hell, H-E-L, not do, where the things that have been sleeping for a millennia are beginning to stir. So I am super excited about this. I think what put me off to start was House of Earth and Blood, and there being a wolf, which obviously clearly obviously resembles a dire wolf, so that's why I didn't pick this up immediately. But it says here, the Telegraph says, think Game of Thrones meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer with the drizzle of E.L. James. I don't actually know who E.L. James is, but that's the first one. The same day I also went and I bought the second book. I hate not being able to go straight on to the next one, so I will almost always buy the series straight out, even if I don't like it, or I'll read the first book and then it. But it was like 2 for 1, or buy one get one half price or something, so I just bought it straight away. This is the Sarah J. Maas House of Sky and Breath, which is the second book in the House of series. A Crescent City novel, so I think it just leads on. And the deadliest power, the fiercest passion, and the cruelest fate. Bryce Quinlan and Hunt Athalar have made a pact that as they progress the events of the spring, they will keep things platonic until winter solstice. But can the two resist when the crackling tension between them is enough to set the whole of Crescent City aflame? If they are not out of danger yet, dragged into the rebel movement, Bryce, Hunt and their friends are unwittingly pitted against the terrifying Estuary, beings whose notice must be avoided at all cost. But as Bryce and Hunt learn more about the rebel cause, they face a choice. Stay silent while others are oppressed, or fight, and they've never been very good at staying silent. So I'm super excited about that. In this country, I think they were both $9.99 each. So both of them are £10 or £10 a tenner. The next book, which I'm not 100% completely sure about, because I am not a romance novel person, but it's this book, which is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. Impossible to put down. They've loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes, and they've killed each other in every single one. And maybe that's all love is in the end, the endless tempting fate. She is. I've never actually heard of her before, but she's there. I'm trying to think if she's English. I think she's English. Yes, the northernmost town in England. But just look how beautiful this book is. I love this. I am never, I feel like this is a crime book and a love story in one. So I am quite excited about reading this. But it probably won't be my first pickup. I will read this in the end, but it probably won't be my first pickup after I finish the Game of Thrones series. So there's that one. And now I have about 4 books left. But I have this one, which I've seen going quite mad at the moment. It's Powerless. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Hunted, hunter, and destined for each other. I think this is a bit of fantasy as well. But look how beautiful this book as well. This book is as well. Only the extraordinary belong in the kingdom of Ilya. The elite have possessed powers for over a decade, gifted to them by the plague, while those born ordinary are just that, banished from the city of Ilya shunned from the city. No one knows this better than Paddin Grey, an ordinary posing as a psychic to blend in with the elites. While she unsuspectingly saves one of Ilia's princes, Guy Azza, she's thrown into Pershing trials, a brutal competition showcasing the elite's powers. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, the prince she's fighting feelings for will discover what Paddin is. Completely ordinary. Now this sounds very much like A Court of Roses and Thorns, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm gonna try really hard not to compare the two, but it does. It sounds really like A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Roses and Thorns, whichever it is. There's a girl who's ordinary, goes to the other world, and then has to go through trials to stop. I don't want to spoil A Court of Thorns and Roses if you haven't watched it, but it's a familiar, that's for certain. So there's that book, and then obviously I went and I bought the second one, which is less about the author. I can tell you a bit about the author. She lived in Michigan her whole life, so she's American. The blurb of this book kind of spoils what happened in that first book, and I don't obviously know if you've started reading, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to read the blurb of this book, because I think it might spoil it if you've only just started reading this and haven't bought this one yet. So I'm not going to read it, but the next epic, sizzling installment in the globally bestseller Powerless series. I think there's a brand new one out that's called Powerful. I think that's fresh on the shelves, but it's traitor, tormented, and destined for each other. And look how beautiful the pages are. I think it's so beautiful. But yeah, I'm not going to read the blurb of this one in case you were still reading that one. Then I have. Now, I was absolutely, completely and utterly obsessed with A Court of Thorns and Roses. So this is the next book, A Court of Mist and Fury, which I actually started reading on my Kindle. I bought one of the matcha green Kindles, but I just realised that I love the smell of books. Do you want to read? I just realised I love the smell of books so much. Oh, I just love them. But you've got 5 books. You've got 5 books in the series: A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, A Court of Frost and Starlight, and A Court of Silver Flames. I feel like so many people try to be the next Game of Thrones, which is why I find it, and because Game of Thrones is such a masterpiece, that's why I find it so hard to not compare the two, even though they are completely different stories. So skip ahead like a couple of minutes if you don't want to read what happens next, but these books have been out for quite a long time. She rescued her lover Tamlin from the sadistic Fairy Queen. Tell me if I'm wrong, but is it Fairy or Fairy? Because I never quite realised my Kindle has the dictation thing where it can tell you, but it never told me what that word was. I think it's Fairy Queen, and now possesses fey powers beyond imagining. But Fairy or Feyre, again, don't really know, cannot forget the destruction she wrought to save her beloved, nor the bargain she made with Rysand, High Lord of the feared Night Court. As Fairy is drawn deeper into Rysand's world, she senses a dark pain in her heart that echoes her own. For good or ill, Fairy must embrace the changes within her. War is looming, and only the full might of her new powers can save the people she loves. See what I mean? It's a completely different story. It's about one girl, not 100 different characters like Game of Thrones or House of Dragon or The Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I am really excited. I started reading this, but I didn't like it. I didn't like reading on the Kindle, so I'm going to give it another try. But she lives in California. Now I don't know whether she is Californian, or because it doesn't say, but it does say she lives in California. But yeah, does anyone else do what I like to do, which is I like to read the last page of the book, or the last 2 pages of the book. I don't know why I always spoil it for myself. But I'm not, so I'm not gonna read that one. And last, but certainly not least, my fave, George R.R. Martin. This is Fire and Blood. So this is it's the start of the Targaryen reign. So Daenerys Targaryen. And before I bought this book, I did not realise how beautiful the illustrations were inside. I think when they republished Game of Thrones, they didn't put anything inside because they republished it and everyone kind of knew what the characters look like. But this book, I'm just trying to get some more photos. Look at this. So it just gives you glimpses of what the characters and the dragons would look like. And I was so shocked when I opened this. Just look how beautiful it is, and it's got them, you can kind of see on here, it goes, centuries before a Game of Thrones, an even greater game began, one that set the skies alight with dragons and flames and saw the 7 kingdoms turn to ash. So began the Targaryens' bloody rule, and with fire and blood, setting brother against brother, mother against daughter, and dragon against dragon. Chronicled by a learned maester of the Citadel, this thrilling and bloody history of Westeros tells the story of where the Battle of the Iron Throne begun. I'm so excited to read this book. I don't know whether I'll finish the Game of Thrones series and then go straight onto this, or I'm so sorry if that disturbed your peace. There on that road is a T-junction, and so it's like this. This road is really fast, and they always pull out in front of them, so I'm so sorry if that disturbed your sleep. I also bought quite recently A Night of 7 Kingdoms, which they do actually have in production at the moment. You will see that from George R.R. Martin's blog, which I'm super excited about watching. I can't wait. House of Dragons. I found House of Dragons really difficult to get into because of just how many names. There's so many names. So I think I'm gonna read the book first to try and get myself accompanied with the names. And actually, I don't know whether in the back of the book he has the same as no, he doesn't. So in A Game of Thrones, because they have so many different characters, he does. Oh wait. Okay, so he does. So he has like a family tree, and then very weird, I've never seen this before, he's actually got a conversation with George R.R. Martin and Dan Jones, which is so cool. But yes, so he does have, because they're so difficult to understand, like you've got the Targaryen succession, which was really cool. And then the lineages and family tree. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to read this. I'm so excited to read this. But yeah, I did also buy a Night of the 7 Kingdoms, which, as I was saying, is in production by HBO at the moment, which I can't wait to watch. But yeah, that is all of the books that I have bought recently. If you guys love this video, I will absolutely 100% continue to do them because I love books and I know you guys love books as well. So thank you so much